Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, April 11th, 5:22 a.m. Central Time as I speak here. May corn futures down 1 3/4 at 5.52 1/4. May soybeans up 8.5 at 14.95 3/4. May Chicago wheat down 3 1/4 at 6.75 1/4. May Kansas City wheat down 1 1/4 at 8.74 3/4. May spring wheat up 1 at 8.76. We're going to start off with U.S. weather this morning. The radar is pretty much blank aside from some rains up in the Pacific Northwest, all of the Corn Belt, all of the plains, pretty much wide open here. Planting reports to this point have been variable. I've heard a ton of reports from a ton of different people. Joe, we've got started. Joe, we're going to start later this week. Joe, it's still too wet. If you're up north, Joe, we're still waiting for the snow to melt. If you guys have updates for me, drop them in the comments here on YouTube if you're watching. If you're going to get started, if you have started, if there's no way you're starting this week, let me know. If you look at the next 7 days in terms of the forecast, really not much here in terms of rainfall. You may see some scattered rains here and there, maybe parts of like central Iowa, maybe parts of northern Minnesota could see up to a half an inch of rain in total over the next 7 days, but you're not seeing any big sweeping widespread rain event. In terms of temperatures, pretty warm really. A lot of places in the Corn Belt, in the plains, in the south, you're going to see temperatures in the 70s today, aside from North Dakota, parts of Minnesota, where they may only see highs in the mid 40s to maybe low 50s today. So still cool up there. We've seen the snowpack decrease a little bit, and I don't know how accurate these snowpack maps are. I'm sure that there's more snow on the ground still in some of these areas, but you're down to 12 or 13 inches at most, according to this map here, in parts of North Dakota, the northern part of South Dakota. If you guys have updates on that situation, let me know. I don't know if this is a bearish factor in regard to the markets. I mean, the crops being planted, it's an inevitability. I suppose that it opens the door to better yield potential and those sort of things. So if you guys have updates, thoughts on this, let me know. If you did have opinions regarding like there's going to be a ton of prevent plant in North Dakota. Do you still have that opinion, or has your opinion changed here given the forecast and what you're seeing? Let me know, guys. Hey, great premium stuff yesterday. This was kind of an educational deal. Flash sales, do they move markets? A lot of times I get questions when there's a big flash sale, especially when we saw the recent buying spree from China in the corn market. Joe, why isn't the market up? I saw there were flash sales today. I ran through the whole process. I explained how it works. If you guys are interested in this video, go to standardgrain.com. Sign up today. The premium subscription is $50 a month, paid to your credit card. It's billed automatically. You can cancel at any time. No other fee, no other obligation. Nobody will try to sell you anything else. It takes you about 1 minute to sign up on your phone or on your computer this morning, guys. We've got a USDA report this morning. This is the monthly crop production and WASDE report. It will be out at 11 a.m. Central. Traders will be on the lookout for changes to the demand side of the U.S. grain balance sheets. We may see a slightly lower corn carryout number for this current marketing year, United States. Same thing with soybeans. Those numbers, the expectation can be attributed to lighter than expected March 1st stocks. Wheat, you may see a slightly higher carryout number. When you look at the global carryout numbers, maybe a lower corn number, maybe a lower soybean number. I think that probably has to do with the expectation for cuts to the Argentina crops. You should see a substantial cut to USDA's projection for both Argentina corn and Argentina soybeans. Some traders believe that you could see a marginal increase to the size of the Brazilian crops. That's not a guarantee, but certainly possible. This report will be out at 11 a.m. Central Time, guys. The April report is typically not the biggest market mover in the world, but always the potential for a surprise, of course. Now, next month in May, you'll get your first look at the new crop balance sheets, and that's kind of interesting. You can start to pencil in different yield prospects and different demand prospects and kind of play around with USDA's numbers. We'll see that stuff next month. China conducted new military drills around Taiwan this week. So China wrapped up 3 days of military drills on Monday. Nuclear-capable planes and ships staged drills to form a real-life blockade situation around Taiwan. These drills follow Taiwan's their president visited the United States and California, I believe, last week. Taiwan's defense minister stated it would not provoke disputes and would respond appropriately to the drills. China, of course, does this every time they get upset about Taiwan and the U.S. and their relations. Bloomberg reporting this morning that the U.S. and Philippines started the largest version of their own military drills in 30 years near the South China Sea, just starting today. This is an annual exercise that the U.S. and the Philippines does every year, but this year it features nearly double the personnel versus last year. So the U.S. and the Philippines in their own drills starting here today with a much larger version of what they typically do on an annual basis. To get into the crop ratings and progress, U.S. winter wheat conditions still absolutely terrible. USDA rated the crop 27% good to excellent nationally, down from 28 last week. That good to excellent print ties 1996 for a modern era low. A whopping 37% of the U.S. winter wheat crop rated poor to very poor. You've got especially poor ratings that persist in Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Colorado, Nebraska, South Dakota, Montana, and Idaho. All of those states are rated 30% good to excellent or worse. Your Midwestern SRW areas, some areas of the PNW, California, in much better shape by comparison. Winter wheat crop 7% headed nationally versus 6 last week and 4 on average. U.S. spring wheat crop is only 1% planted versus 4 on average, and these are numbers that you can expect to lag for a while, I would imagine, given the situation and in North Dakota, other spring wheat areas. Corn planting, real quick, 3% complete versus 2% on average. Nothing to get too excited about there. Brazilian farmers continue to harvest soybeans. The crop was 82% harvested through last Thursday. Both public and private entities unanimously call this crop a record. It's just the details that are being debated here. So is it 153? Is it 155? I think there's one group at the 157. It's a record crop, and by a wide margin. It's just the details are to be debated at this point. The group, Ag Rural, mentioned that the country's second and larger corn crop has been planted, is developing well. If you look at the weather, this is a rough estimate here on my screen of Brazilian second corn areas. Everybody's going to catch some rain here over the next 7 days. The long-term forecast looks good as well. So I think you've got every reason to believe that this Brazilian second corn crop will be pretty good and probably a record this year. Nothing to suggest otherwise at this point. Corn shipments declined last week. This is not where we need to be. 805,000. That's about 32 million bushels. We need to be doing 1.2 million, 1.5 million, somewhere in that neighborhood, and we're just not there. So that print, this 805,000, that was down 27% on the week, down 45% versus the same week last year. Accumulated corn shipments for the current marketing year are down 37% versus the same period last year. We need to catch up, and we've only got a couple months to do it. Before our window starts to close. July, August is when the Brazilian crop will come online. So this is really our time to shine right now in terms of corn shipments, and we're really not where we need to be. We need to see stuff more similar to where we were last year when we were doing 1.5 million on average around this time of year. That's what we need to be doing in terms of shipments. We're just not quite there. Soybean shipments were actually okay at about 670,000. Wheat shipments were up sharply on the week at 335,000. Cattle market was strong yesterday. We saw some gains there. Cash cattle was very strong last week, 170 to 172 in the south, up to 178 in the north. So very strong market there. U.S. dollars down a little bit this morning. The stock market's up 10 points. In the S&P, the Dow Jones up 50. Gold's up $13. Crude oil is up 14 cents in the May WTI at 79.88 last trade. Have a great day, guys. Remember, report at 11. I'll talk to you Wednesday.